I don't have to let these outside influences in, that I can put up a barrier for myself and create a little shell where I get to start my day how I want to start it. And now that I've chosen to do that, I've built this momentum. Hey, welcome back. It's Rob, and today I want to talk about creating daily momentum to propel us toward our long-term goals and toward ultimate success. Because daily momentum is the thing that's going to keep us going when things get tough and when we don't feel like we're really making any progress because we can't really see the result yet. It's the little things that we do along the way that lead to the result. And the little things that we do, the power to do them and the will to do them comes from creating this daily momentum. At least it has in my life. So what I've found is that in order to create daily momentum, it really, really matters how you start your day. And the energy that you have in the morning and that you bring to your day largely dictates how your day is going to unfold. At least it does for me. And I think it does generally for most people. Because I'm trying to think of when I didn't used to have a kind of a system in place for my day and my morning, I did what a lot of people do. And a lot of people, when they wake up, and maybe you do this, and maybe you know somebody who does this, if it's not you, they grab their phone right away, right? What did I miss, right? Are there texts? Is there something? Is there a post on Instagram? Is there a YouTube video? Is there a Facebook post that I need to look? These things, X, there's all these different outlets, right, where we go to be entertained, to get information, to connect with people. But ultimately, starting your day off like that, it really can be a detriment to your overall success. And the reason I say that is because what you're doing is you are empowering those platforms and what they give to you from your algorithm feed or whatever it may be that, whatever you believe puts the things in front of you that get put in front of you. You are allowing that to set the tone for your day. So you'll get on, Facebook and see a post that infuriates you. And now you've started off your day with this angsty sort of feeling, and maybe you fire off some sort of response because it upsets you so much. Well, you're starting your day off now in this upset state. And that can be a negative thing, right? It can be a positive thing. And some people, they're rare, but some people, and maybe this is you, some people can use that sort of anger and that sort of frustration or that feeling and turn it into something positive. Okay, but the way I see it is you've started, if you wake up at a 0, you've started at like a -3 now. So to get up to a 5 or a 6 or something, you've got to dig yourself out of this negative, right? You've got to dig yourself out of this hole. You're creating extra work for yourself. Why do that? Your morning energy is something that you can control. And it's something that I learned. This was a technique that I picked up from Tony Robbins of creating a series of questions that you ask yourself. And these questions are designed to put you into a peak state in the morning. Now, I don't go so far as to put myself in a peak state, but what I did was, again, I took this and I modified it, and I modified it with some information from another source that says that you ought to start your day as close to a high as you possibly can, right? As close to not peak performance necessarily, but just peak emotional feeling, right? Feeling like you can go slay the day, feeling like you can get out there and whatever comes your way, you're going to overcome it because you have this amazing positive aura around yourself. And so this idea of starting off feeling positive and starting off, for me personally, from a place of love, this is how I began to start my day. And the 5 questions, I call this 5 in 5. It's my own little part of my morning routine. I have a very small, short morning routine. And I don't believe in these long morning routines that some people recommend that take like an hour and a half and you haven't even done anything yet, but you've prepared. To me, I tried that for a while, and I don't mean to knock it because I'm above it or something, but it's because I tried it and it didn't work for me, because I realized that I was getting into my day and I was an hour and a half into my day and I hadn't done anything. All I had done was I read for a while, and I reflected on this, and I journaled, and I did all these things that are part of this morning routine that, to me, it didn't work. So I created a very short morning routine that does work for me. And what I started off with is this 5 in 5, as I call it. It's 5 questions in 5 minutes. And I created an audio track for myself. I have a background in audio production. I created an audio track for myself that is a 5-minute long track that counts down. It's actually 5 minutes and 8 seconds because of the countdown at the beginning, and then at the end I have a little sound that designates the ending. And as it goes through, with each minute, there's a little 2-second countdown and then a bell that rings. And so I know where I'm at in my 5 in 5, because what I first did was create this idea of a 5 in 5, and then I found out that as I answered these questions, I got off on these tangents, and pretty soon my 5 in 5 turned into a 5 in 15. And that was all the time I had allotted for my entire morning routine. So now nothing else was on the table anymore unless I wanted to extend and push back the start of my day, which I didn't want to do. So I narrowed it. I limited myself. Sometimes putting limits on yourself is a good thing. It can increase productivity. And that's what I found. And so creating this daily momentum through this 5 in 5 now, it became a fun thing where the first couple of times that I did it, I couldn't believe how short a minute was, because I'm going on and on about these things, and I usually speak this stuff out loud, even if it's at a low volume, so I don't wake up my daughter who's in the next room, or if she's not here, I'll speak it out loud. But I will speak these things out loud, and I will answer these questions and ask them. And so, I would go on the first few times that I did this with the timer. I was, in what I thought was the middle of a response, and then tick, tick, and I was like, whoa, what? I'm already done? And so I had to cut off that response and move on to the next question, okay? That discipline has now gotten me to the point where I know how much time I have to answer each one. And the answers are always different, right? So I ask these questions, it's the same 5 questions every day, and the answers are always different. But they are all always things that put me in a positive state and put me in a state where I am ready to start my day from a place of love, from a place of giving generously. And that's what these videos are about, is sharing things with you. And this is where this all comes from, right? And so creating the intentional habit of this 5 in 5, and at first it not being a very intentional habit, and then sort of crafting it into that intentional habit through the use of this audio track that I put together that counts me down and keeps me on track. This is the thing that creates the momentum. These intentional habits, these daily habits, the little things that we do. And if you've read Darren Hardy's book, The Compound Effect, it's a wonderful example of this. It's a book I recommend if you haven't read it. And he talks about the power of the little things that we do stacking up and the little habits. And that's the compound effect, right? And of course, it's a similar concept to compound interest. And it's funny to me that, there are people who say, improve 1% every day, and at the end of the year, you will have improved 365%. Well, you're not doing the math right. I'll do another video about that. I'll put a video together I'll show you the math on that. You're way beyond 365% by the end of a year. Because the 1% stacks on the 1%, the 1%, and 1%. And so, again, similar to compound interest, you wind up way more than 365%. But these intentional habits and this idea of constantly making sure that you are staying on track with them, that's what creates unstoppable momentum. That's what gets you the momentum that pushes you through when you face adversity. And when you face adversity, a lot of times it just feels like a little blip and a little bump on the road, a little fly you have to swat away. It doesn't feel like much because you've got so much momentum built up. That's been my experience. So again, I don't necessarily recommend that you do my 5 in 5 and you create a timer audio. I'll share it with you though if you want. If you're a part of the community over on the website, just let me know. Drop me an email and ask me to share that with you. I'll share it with you. And you can download it and you can use it. And you can try this out, this 5 in 5. I'll give you the questions I ask myself every day too. Although you might want to use them as a base, but you should probably develop your own questions. That's kind of the whole point, is that they need to mean something to you. But at least you can use mine as an example, and a starting point, a template. And again, I'll share the audio with you. But the idea is that you create these intentional habits that you make sure that you stay on track with every single day. And as you do that, you build the momentum, right? And so all of this kind of comes back to the idea for all of this comes back to a concept that I learned from a guy named Trent Shelton, who I absolutely love, and you can follow him on YouTube. And he had a channel called Rehab Time. I think he still posts on that. I think he also has a channel under his own name now, Trent Shelton. But he's just an amazing human being, and I've had the pleasure of hearing him speak live numerous times. And he really just brings it. And he's a guy who's really in touch with his emotions. And the way he shares things and the passion that he has is phenomenal. And it really is someone that you should pay attention to and someone that you should watch. And I don't use the word should very often because I don't believe in telling people what they should and shouldn't do. That's for you to decide. But I highly recommend checking out Trent Shelton. One of the things that he talks about is protecting your peace. And this whole idea, again, of waking up and immediately grabbing your phone or immediately, looking at the news, turning on the TV so that you can get the news or the latest stock report or whatever. That stuff might be important, I understand, but you don't need to start your day with it. It's not going to affect anything if you wait 15 minutes, right? And I don't mean wait by just sitting around. I mean do this thing where you create your own momentum. That's the key. Create your own momentum. And again, that's why the questions, if you want to do this 5 and 5 thing, the questions need to be your own. Because this morning energy, you can create it and you can choose it. And so that idea, again, protect your peace, is what Trent Shelton talked about. And that's what kind of gave spark to this whole thing for me, was to realize and understand that I have the power to protect my peace. That I don't have to let these outside influences in, that I can put up a barrier for myself and create a little shell where I get to start my day how I want to start it. And now that I've chosen to do that, I've built this momentum, and I've got to this point where now if I do wake up and decide not to do my 5 and 5 and decide not to do my morning routine, first of all, it's a decision that I make. It's not a decision that I have to be forced into because I woke up late or I missed some important thing already and I have to scramble now. None of that, okay? Because, again, in terms of taking control, and this is a different sort of subject, but one that I cover in my Performance Accelerator, is taking control of your time and doing a time audit and understanding, how you're using your time and what you can do differently. So I don't have those kind of episodes anymore like I used to. But this whole thing about protecting your peace, let me get back to that. This was a major breakthrough for me, because what this did was it allowed me to understand how to create momentum myself, how to control the narrative when I wake up in the morning, to make it the way that I want to make it, to lead me on the path to success. And so that's what I want to invite you to do. Protect your peace, whatever that means to you. And the other thing I want to invite you to do, I mentioned it a moment ago, the Performance Accelerator. That is a free 3-day intensive that I created for you. You head over to my website, yoursoulsource.com, check it out, and get the Performance Accelerator program. It's designed to work for you in an hour a day to learn a lot about yourself, to kind of step into a new version of yourself that's going to lead you on the path towards success and toward the things that you want out of life if you're not getting those already. And you're going to, in day 3, come up with what I call the momentum map. And I guide you through that process, and you create your own momentum map that's specific to your situation. And that's where you will start to create this daily momentum that will lead you on the path to victory and to ultimate success. So I really appreciate you watching here. If you are interested in more of this content, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss anything. I put out a video pretty much every day for you so that you can come and get some good stuff to filter into your brain, or filter through your brain, I guess, and through yourself, and see what works for you and what doesn't. And I invite you to use what works for you, invite you to cast away what doesn't. Drop a comment and let me know what you think and what you are using. And if you want to share something that you're using to create daily momentum, I would love to see that too, something that I didn't mention here. That is always useful to see things like that in the comments, because other people may come by and see your comment, and it could be the catalyst, it could be the game changer for them. And something that you may write in the comments also may be something I can use. So I would appreciate it. All right? And just stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.